So today I'd like to talk to you about using the Unicorn evaluation module to view results, integrate peaks, not files, to integrate peaks and export that data to external media, say like PowerPoint or Word or something for showing the public. A quick note, this is the streamlined version of Unicorn, or if in Unicorn 7, it's just called Evaluation. There's another version of Unicorn, it's called Unicorn Classic. So I did a video about the streamlined version elsewhere. So today we're just going to talk about Classic Evaluation. So to find Classic Evaluation, the first thing you have to do is go to the module itself. So we're going to select the Unicorn button down here. We're going to go all the way over to the subscreen that's got the little E on it. All right, and then once we're looking at this, we're going to select the Applications button, and we're going to go to Switch to Unicorn Classic. And then this is what you end up with. It's this blank page. In order to find the result file we're looking for, we're just going to select the Results Navigator. And then we have three things we can do on the top. So this is Recent Runs. I just have it selected in Results, and we can also search for files using Find Results, but I have mine pre-selected. So, I made a training folder and some examples. There's no preview, so I just kind of have to know what I'm looking for, but I'm just going to select SEC run. I think this is kind of an interesting file to look at that highlights some problems I think that there are with this evaluation module, and we'll get into that later. So now this view is completely customizable. So first we've got two great peaks on the UV line, and we'll play with those later. We have a conductivity curve that's kind of floating up here in the middle of the screen. We're going to have to fix that later. And then we also have, like, say, a pH curve, a fraction curve, and a systems pressure curve. I like the fraction curve, but I want to get rid of the pressure and pH curves because they don't really show anything. So we're going to remove those curves. So we're just going to right click here and go all the way down to Customize. And we're going to find the pH curve. So you can just read this as you go along here. We'll select pH and then systems pressure, and that should make our view much better. Okay, great. And now we're going to figure out what to do with this conductivity line. So just like in the systems control module, this view works pretty much the exact same way. I can select the key up here at the top, or I can select the curve itself to toggle in between them for the y-axis. So I'm going to look at the conductivity curve. You notice that it goes from a scale of 40, about 40 whatever, to 0. And what I want to do is I want to scale this curve so that it's about the same scale in terms of view as the as the UV curve. So it just takes up the whole page here. And so we're going to start the baseline at around, let's say 18, and we're going to go up to 40. So how you do that, again, we're going to right click and go to Customize, click that. And so since I have the y-axis already highlighted on the conductivity curve, Unicorn is going to pre-select conductivity for me. So I am going to now, instead of just being in the Curves tab, I'm going to select the y-axis tab. And it's auto selecting what it should think that the scale should be, but this time I'm going to go to Fixed, and I'm going to type in 18 here, and then this other one I'm going to go to 40. All right, great. You know what, I think it might look nice to have the conductivity scale on the right hand side, so I'm going to select the right axes to be the conductivity. So that's, oops, I accidentally selected pH there, conductivity. Hit OK, there we go. So I think for this one I want to toggle. It ended up that this was on the right side. I think that's because it was selected. I want the UV to be on the right side, so I'm going to select this for the UV. I'm going to go back and I'm going to do the right axis to be conductivity. Maybe a finger just slipped or something, I'm not sure. Okay, there we go. All right, that's what I want. Okay, so now we've got the view we're looking for. Now we have to integrate peaks. So, and after we integrate peaks, we're going to export the media. We're going to export our view to PowerPoint. So we're going to go up to the integrate button and we're going to select peak integrate. So let's just see what happens. The first thing it's going to show is going to ask us, like, what curve do we want to integrate and where do we want the output to be? So this is what I meant. Let's just see what happens. I said a little too soon. So let's just see what happens when we integrate just as is. Okay, so there are a lot of peaks. There's a bunch of them over here, and this is probably just because the conductivity is actually going through the UV meter. There's a couple little blips over here. This one when we started the run. So we don't really want those in there. You can see we have 20 peaks. So first off, let's reduce the number of peaks that we have selected. We just really what we're looking for is we just want, like, ultimately I'm trying to get a integration that shows just this first peak and this second peak, and it's only calculating like the percent area. Like in the peak table, it's only showing the percent area for the fractions that I collected. So from about here to over here. All right, so let's go and reintegrate this, and we'll try a couple other things here to get it right. So UV, I'm just going to write over the old peak table, but this time I'm going to adjust the peak window, okay? And so I can slide this over and that'll get rid of all these guys, all these small guys on the side. So here, and then here, I'm only looking for peaks. I don't want to make it too close because then it'll get like the baseline, it'll have a hard time calculating exactly what the baseline is. So I'm going to go back to about here, back to about here, because it wasn't picking up peaks there, and hit OK. And then you'll notice right here that there's this pink line, and I want to make that's the baseline. So I want to make that 0. So we're going to select, for the baseline calculation, we're just going to select this 0 baseline. And then we'll also, since we only want 2 peaks, we're just going to do the 2 largest peaks. So we're going to hit the reject peaks. And this is where the 20 peaks comes from. So we're just going to, instead of 20, we're just going to select 2. Okay, hopefully we don't have to do any other adjustments. So let's see what it looks like. Okay, so 2 peaks, that's what I'm looking for. All right, peak 1 and peak 2, there we go. We still have the baseline curve there. I know we're using the zero baseline. So I think this is just left over. It didn't eliminate it, so we're gonna get rid of it by going to customize and then the curves tab, and then curve 16 is the new one. So we'll just get rid of that. Okay, there we go. Okay, so it's not showing the percent area of the curve. So I'm gonna go here to the pick in the peak table area. I'm gonna right click and select customize. All right, and then let's see here. What am I looking for here? Oh, right, I'm gonna turn on this column and I want it to be percent total area. There we go. Okay. And then, so here's the percent area right here. I think I can type in the peak name right here. No, I can't. Okay. I find that frustrating. To me, it should be that, like, there's lots of things about the Evaluation Classic module you're gonna start seeing that I find frustrating. So that's one of them. And so and the other thing that you're going to notice is that where the peaks begin and end. So the peak starts right here. So if I turn on the marker, we're going to go down here. And we're going to scroll the marker over. You notice the peak integration starts at around 82 mils. And I wanted to start, like, again, where I started collecting fractions, which is right here. So I want the peak to start at around 103, and then I want it to end over here at 176 mils. But you notice this divot right here, that's telling me where the integration's ending. So this area of 53% and 45% isn't accurate. So at least it's not accurate to what I want to show. So I have to make more adjustments. So I can make those adjustments. So it's 176 to 82. Okay, I'm gonna remember that, okay? Now, the other thing you'll notice is that, okay, so we're gonna go to integrate and then edit peak table, right? Okay, so this is the view that comes up. And so you'll notice that 86 is where the peak calculation started, but this is the fun thing. I can take this marker right here and I can push it to the side, and I can tell Unicorn where I want the integration to start. And the fun thing is that there's no number, right? I also can't type in the number where I want it to start at. So I know I wanted it to be like 103, I think 106, but I know this is a little bit more than 100 right now, but I'm not sure where it's at. Okay, and then so I know I want this for this peak. Again, it's all the way out here. I want it to be 176, so I know it's got to be less than 180, but there's no numerical value expressed. So we'll try there. Hopefully that looks good. And I think I can type in the peak name here. Yes, I can. So YFP, and then this is going to be the impurity. Okay, see what that looks like. And this is asking me if I want to just write over my old peak table. Yes, I do want to write over my old peak table. Okay, so this looks pretty good. I got the little divot right here. I got the little divot right there. And that's good. That's where I want it to be. So one other thing I could possibly do is try to highlight that thing, what I'm looking at. And so I can do that by going here to customize, and I can click this, so fill peaks, right? And I'm going to pick this hash mark. But the thing is, I can't differentiate between peak 1 and peak 2. So I'm just going to, it's going to end up just highlighting both of them. So again, something that's pretty frustrating, right? If I want to differentiate between these two, I can't show that they're different. Like, it would be nice if I could make this one blue and this one green or something. Or have like different color, have them hash differently, but whatever. Okay, so I don't really like this view. I think the other view where they're not filled in is better, so I'm just going to unfill those. I just wanted to show you that you can do that. Okay, so unfill peaks. There we go. Okay, that looks better. So I'm going to unclick the marker. All right, so this is the view I want to export. And there are two ways you can export in Unicorn. The dumbest one is you could just hit print screen, right? And so then I'm going to go over to PowerPoint, and I'm just going to hit Control V on my keyboard, and there. That's what I got. I can crop this, of course, to whatever I want. Of course, it's not always going to be consistent, so maybe I don't want to do that, because it might be bigger or shorter sometimes. Sometimes I might cut off the right side, so maybe that isn't the best thing. The other way I can do it is I can copy it. So let's go back to Unicorn. Click this. All right, so right here, I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go to copy to clipboard. And then I'm just going to copy the curve. And I'm not going to copy the selected peak table. You could do that too separately if you wanted to. So I'm just going to leave this selected here, hit OK. All right, go back to PowerPoint. We'll make a new slide. Just get rid of this for clarity. All right, Control V. There we go. All right, I think this looks better. Of course, the key is kind of difficult to understand. The lettering is really small, and I don't need Chrome _1 SEC XK2645. I just needed to say UV, right? So really, I wouldn't want to show this this key here. I probably would want to crop that out. So if you use the streamlined, if you're lucky enough to have the streamlined version of Unicorn, it can, look at this, I can't crop it out quite, because if I do this, I'm going to start getting rid of the axes labels. So I guess I'm just going to have to leave it as is. you can, what was I saying? That the streamlined version of the evaluation module in Unicorn does a much better job of copying and pasting out curves and result files really into media for publication and whatnot. But that's something I'm going to show you in a different video. So thank you very much for watching. If you have any suggestions for tutorial videos, I'd be happy to show you. Just leave a comment below. Thank you very much.